Hi.
Hi.
I'm. We're.
Hi.
I'm Connor.
I'm TJ.
We're Violet Night together as a collective. And we have a new record coming out called Colors of You. So, May 4th, it's the 5th month, the 4th day, on iTunes and Spotify. Everywhere you can think of, Google Play, Bandcamp, Pandora, iHeartRadio. Like the corner store near your house probably doesn't have it, so don't go there. I look at a record as like a former life kind of thing, you know? And I think that it's phases you go through as a human being and as a person, and experiences that you go through as a collective. Because the timeline for writing this record was about 2 years, so we wrote it over the span of 2 years. We started writing this record when our EP, I don't think, had even been released in 2015. So we had a lot of time. So it's to me, it's a reflection of a lot of different colors and shades of our lives and those periods of our time, if that makes any sense.
The idea of the album was to be very different. All the songs needed to be distinct from one another. We didn't want any to sound the same or to be the same, just like life. Everything needs to be colorful and different. Yeah,
that was true. Like we've had some people hear it, and a lot of people really like it. But the thing about the record is there's not two songs that sound the same, I don't think. Like there's some that could be considered a similar genre, but we worked really hard to make a distinction from song to song, yet still build it as an extended play where you listen to 10 songs and you're not bored. There's nothing worse than a band that puts out a record, 10 songs that sound the exact same, and then you're sitting there after the first 2 or 3 really good ones and you're bored out of your mind, you know? We both have severe ADD, so it's kind of like...
Yeah, we also wanted the album to be... We love albums that are very thematic, so we wanted the album to be listened to front to back and to have it wrap around so that you could, listen to it front and back, and then it would kind of connect at the end.
Yeah, if you listen to the very last track, it actually loops you to the first track of the record, so you can listen to the record on an infinite loop for the rest of your life, successfully.
My favorite track is Colors of You. We brought in a guest vocalist, and she has an amazing voice. To me, it's like that song is just incredibly beautiful, and that's why it resonates with me.
It's different for me every day of the week. The hardest song to write on the record for me, and one that's close to my heart, is Lions. It's about guilt that I dealt with. My grandfather passed away from cancer, and I didn't go visit him in the hospital. It was a 12-hour drive, but I didn't go visit him because people kind of advised me and said, you'll never see him the same if you see him in his hospital bed, and just a lot of things, and I really felt guilt and remorse for that. So reflecting on that is what spurred me to write Lions, and I cried. So I've never been more emotionally involved with a song, so I would probably pick Lions.
When I started music, I was very little. My grandma had an old, she used to play piano in a church. And she had this old piano that she kept at her house. And I remember being very little and going and just playing on it. And I remember writing my first song, and it's nothing super simple, you know. It was just like the C, and then it goes up to a D, and then E, F, and then it comes down to C again. Originally, I just wanted to compose music. I just wanted to score films because...
He was born mute. No. Born mute, raised in the woods.
I have a hard time explaining myself with words, so I always found that music was a very easy way to express myself in a way that I could never do with words, and that's how I kind of fell in love with music.
I started when I was young. When I was a kid, my mom, when I was little, no, you got to play guitar, not do piano.
Sorry.
He's really butchering this bit. We wrote this. No, my mom introduced us to Led Zeppelin and David Bowie, and I mean, even when I was in grade 2, I had a Dookie, Green Day cassette tape. So even at a young age, my mom conditioned us. I remember being 10 and her quizzing me on the names of everyone in Led Zeppelin. So I think she really introduced me, and then hearing about my Uncle Danny and his bands in the 70s and things like that really inspired me at a young age. When I was young, I was a fat kid, and I was not good at sports. And when I played guitar and got into music, I felt like I obviously had a really big passion for it, but it was something that I could thrive and excel at, and something that kind of made me stand out and be cool, especially where I was from. And I don't know, it's just something that is definitely, it's everything, you know, it's basically everything I enjoy in life is based around music.
Violet Night started when Connor convinced me to write music with them. I'd always helped out with his other band projects, that I'd always like be there when they were writing music, and I'd always give my input and tips, and then
just digging a grave, digging my own, you know what I'm saying?
And then Connor said, "Why don't we just write some songs?" And
yeah,
here we are.
I was in a different band, and nobody in that band really wanted to just go for it like I did it anymore. And I've always been steadfast that it was like, we're gonna make it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna give it 110%. And when I finally got TJ on board, he was the first person I've ever been in a band with who wanted to give every bit of himself to the band, which is fantastic because you need to. And we used to stay up late at his house, at his apartment, under the influence of whatever, listening to music that we both really enjoyed, and we would just jam acoustic and piano. And this was like 5 years before we ever played or thought about being in a band together, and we had a very natural chemistry. So when we started doing it together and wheels started to spin for us, it felt really natural and felt really good to be doing it together. Take that however you want, but don't actually. You want to throw me my iPhone? No, I'm just kidding. I have to think about this.
I can't remember them off the top of my head, but
what record?
No. Viva La Vida is definitely one of my all-time favorite albums.
On the plane ride here, I listened to a lot of The National. David Bowie is one of my all-time favorites.
Hot Fuss is another one of mine.
Yeah, the band
The
Hot
Killers.
Fuss, the record, The Killers. No, I just everything. I listened to so much music that it's really hard to pin down.
Crystals by Monsters of Men.
Yeah, Plans by Death Cab for Cutie is an all-time favorite of ours. Viva La Vida is a favorite of ours. Any band that incorporates art into the record and to the whole message and the whole spiel of things, it has to be more than just a record. It has to be firing on all cylinders, a video, audio experience.
Welcome to the Black Parade. They're
one band.
I've definitely seen a lot of places, so I don't think there's any. I would just love to travel and to see the world and to meet the people and to see the different cultures and hear the languages and try the food.
But what band would you like to do it with? If you had to pick one.
I don't know. Coldplay, no.
I think for a band going right now, I think 21 Pilots would be a good choice. Them, if My Chem was still around, they'd be dope. Or Joy Division, if they were still around, would be a great one. I would pick them if they were around. Finn, that's French for end.